What's going on, everybody? AK Night Stalker here with another War Thunder video. Flying out the BF-109 G6 in tank sim, one of my favorite planes, and trying it out with the 30mm gun pods just because 30mm are ridiculous. Do a quick burst right there. I was just curious how much my nose would drop down when I shot, just so I know how much to compensate for. And we'd already taken off and got to the battle, and there wasn't any planes around, so we're just staying a ways away from their base and looking for anything to take off. And right now I can see a dot coming down the runway, but we're just gonna wait for a minute for him to get a ways away, because airfields and tank sim are just ridiculous, and if you go anywhere near them you will definitely die. So I don't ever bother going near them, unlike in normal realistic battles where if it's towards the end of the match I'll definitely risk my plane to go near it and just finish off the last guy or whatever. But tank sim, that's just out of the question. You'll die 99% of the time. But keeping an eye on him, just watching him get away from the base, give him sort of a chance. He's kind of screwed anyhow, since I see him and have such an advantage already. It doesn't matter if I just seen him taking off the runway, but keep an eye on him. We actually kind of lost track of him for a second, and I see another dot behind him, and I did actually see the second dot earlier, and I was just gonna dive on the first guy anyhow, because I wasn't worried about the guy behind catching me up that dive and shooting me. But lost track of him, so we put him behind this guy instead and just come in with the throttle off weapon fairly quiet so he doesn't hear us as much or something. But he doesn't move, so I just get in as close as possible, and he just gets obliterated. So yeah, 30mm are ridiculous. I usually just run the 30mm nose cannon on whatever 109s that I can use them in, because one hit with a 30mm in sim and their plane is either dead or gonna crash. So that's, no, I just prefer it, just hit them once and it's done. But the gun pods, they're entertaining, but they reduce your flight characteristics, or like being able to turn too much. I think like it is fun and you'll have good games and it's still a good plane, but usually like the G6 can fairly easily in sim fight yaks and everything. But I got into a fight on a different match, and there's a JU-87 right there, but I got in a fight with a yak on a different map, and I almost had him with the gun pods on, but I ended up just losing too much energy before I could get on him, and then once I lost the energy advantage, he had me, and we just kept turning for a while, and I just ended up accidentally flat spinning and crashing. But seeing another plane pass underneath me, big silver plane, and I had track of my friendlies in the area, so it was definitely an enemy, so pulling behind him. Being big and silver, it was safe to say it was a P-47, and they're big, fat, and slow without being bombs, or without having bombs on them. But he has bombs on, and he just drops them, and I've been getting killed by the 2-second delays and huge blast radius, so the bomb drops too much, so I just fly off to the side for a second and pull back on. But he didn't have a delay on his bomb, so didn't really have to worry about it. Anyways, we'll keep chasing him, and even if you don't have gun pods on, just with 30mm or anything, it's just nice to get as close as possible, get like within 400 yards or less, get a spark on the tail, and then like right there, about maybe 2 30mm hit right in the crook of his wing and fuselage, and just annihilates him. That's the beauty of 30mm right there. So we'll just keep on cruising here. Another plane out there. Pretty sure that's the JU-87 still. He was actually alive, I think, the whole match, and he might have got, I think he might have got a kill, getting kills on, I think he's using a G2 JU-87 and getting kills on that. It was amazing when you're shooting tanks with those 37s and they actually die. But now I know there's no more enemy planes in the area. Here what I'm sure the ME-410 go by, but fly back towards their base just to see if there's anything coming from there. not seeing too much from this far, so get some altitude and climb a bit to the side of it. Like I said, getting close to the airfield is just ridiculously dangerous in tank sim. And there we go, yep. See another dot coming off their airfield, so same thing. We have an advantage on them right now, and it wouldn't matter if you hadn't just taken off from the airfield or not. We'll just let them get away and just pull in behind them nice and easy. Looks like another P-47 at low altitude, just full of bombs and rockets. Nothing difficult here. He's pulling some maneuvers. I'm being so slow, and we had a little bit of a dive. We overshoot, nothing too big. He can't follow us if we go vertical at all. So just kind of go up and loop it around back over just to pull in behind him again. Pull it a bit hard to the right so we can actually come in from behind, because I'm not worried about catching him. He ain't gonna be able to go anywhere. Again, he has bombs on, so I gotta be a little bit careful there. Sparks on the wings, and then there's those bombs again. And then, yeah, a bunch of 30 mils converge right on his tail and light him on fire and blow his wings off. And yeah, there's those bombs. But luckily, we were actually so close on his tail that they blew up behind us a ways and didn't really do any damage on it to us. So now, yeah, we're out of gun pod ammo, which you only get 70 rounds for 2 guns or something like that, and like 65 or whatever for the nose gun. So you're gonna run out of the cannon pod ammo really fast. So we're gonna go back to base. Then someone spotted another plane, and there it is, just on the top of my canopy over by the water. So we'll follow him and try to get a kill with these last 25 rounds. That's plenty enough to get a kill with the nose cannon. Still trying to figure out what it is. Looks pretty big. I was thinking it might be a P-47, but hit close, and I didn't really look too hard at what planes they could have on their lineup. I figured it was like an IL-2 or something, but it turns out it's IL-10. It has a bit more dangerous tail gunner, which you gotta keep mind of, because tail gunners in sim, especially if they're using mouse aim, that stuff is retarded. A friendly plane is trying to shoot him down with me. I think it's like a G2 or something like that. Try to get some shots on it there, but he kind of went under him. Get hit by his gunner right there. I think I get a couple 13 mils on his wing right there, but that ain't gonna do nothing to a Russian attacker. Keep following the other 109s, shooting like crazy at him. And I think right here, coming up that, hey, right there, the 109 gets a good hit on him, nothing happens. And this is the thing with the 30 mils, when they're just going straight, it's pretty hard to hit them with that. You get one round left, boom, right in the back of the tail, nothing happens. And then his just tail gunner, and maybe the 109 that I just rudely cut in the front of, just lights us up. So engine temps were already hot, and then we just lost oil and water right there. So this is gonna be, we're gonna be learning if we can make it back to base from the water on Norway back to our base from here. So with hot engine that's leaking. So we'll find out. We'll just keep cruising as much as we can. Don't want to climb too much right now, because I just want to go as fast as possible straight to base, and I'm not worried about getting altitude so I can glide further. I just want to have as much engine power pushing me towards base as I can for as long as possible. And to save you some of the boredom just flying there, I skipped a minute or two, and we made it to the runway with a little bit of engine life left, and we're on approach for landing. Just drop a little extra speed that we had. I don't want to drop too much, since you only get one shot with a red engine, so I want to do it right. Yeah, come in pretty fast, but lose as much as we can using landing flaps and my 13 mils. Bouncing, and wheels don't want to stay on the ground, but when you get it down there and stuck on the ground and getting pretty close to the end of the runway, just firing as much as I can to come to a stop, and at pretty high speed I swing it around so we don't overshoot the runway. But it turned out to land pretty nicely. I was pretty happy with that. Alright, get repaired and start taking back off again. Try to find anything left alive for this match.
I'm sorry.
And again, like with any 109s for takeoff, you pretty much give it full right rudder and roll it a bit to the right. Speed it up, just wanted to show the takeoff in there for anybody who wanted to see it and see a friendly 110 shooting a balloon, and not to be outdone, just one pop it or one tap it and it blows up. Two can play at that game. Clearly that was the better shot right there. So I'll just kind of mess around right here, flying through the balloons and stuff. Those wires can actually break your plane and knock you down, but just speed it up here, looking again for anything coming off their runway or anything. We're actually losing tickets fast because no. Anyways, that does it for the game. And go back to the hangar and see what scores we get. End up getting second place on the team with 3 air kills. Get 44,000 lions and new skin and decent research. We're not researching any modifications or any planes. We got everything for the G6 and all the German planes. But anyways, good match. Hope you guys enjoyed the game, and I'll catch you later.